It's not your knowledge of God that develops relationship with Him, but rather understanding that you are known by God. You belong to Him. You are loved by Him. You are His child. Welcome to Life as God Intended. Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, may I encourage you to do so. Thanks for giving us a thumbs up for this video, and don't forget to push that notification bell. What an encouragement it is to hear from you. Thanks for leaving your comments below this video. And may I say a big thank you to those of you who have recently donated to help us with the production costs. We greatly appreciate it. You are known by God. I talk to many people who have a desire to know God better. But what's more important than your knowledge of Him is His knowledge of you. No doubt the deepest need of mankind is not to know, but to be known. So for man, knowing becomes a clever counterfeit for being known. Therefore, when Christians continue to seek for knowledge about God, they are searching for an identity that they already have in Christ, but they do not understand and therefore are living from a self-serving perspective. You see, central to biblical theology is the whole topic of knowing God. As with every relationship, the knowledge of God has two sides. First, the Christians knowing God, and secondly, and much more importantly, being known by God. Deeper than knowing God is being known by God. What distinguishes us as Christians is not primarily that we have come to know God, but that He is mindful of us and made us His own. It's not your knowledge of Him that develops relationship, but understanding you are known by Him. You say, well, what does it mean to be known by God? Being known by God encompasses three important truths. First, belonging to God. Secondly, being loved by God. And finally, being a child of God. Being known by God promotes humility and supplies comfort and security. However, for those who are not known by God, God has some warnings and some dire consequences. Jesus said, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven. Many will say to me in that day, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name and perform many miracles?' And then I will declare to them, 'I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness.'" Therefore, when speaking of being known by God, we must distinguish between two very important aspects of knowledge: relational knowledge and factual knowledge. God's factual knowledge refers to the idea that He knows everything about everyone at all times, referred to in theology as God's omniscience. God's relational knowledge, however, means that who we are is known personally to God. Although God knows everyone, He does not know everyone in an intimate sense of personal relationship. Psalm 138:6 speaks of God knowing the proud from afar, but the righteous up close. Similarly, as already referenced, Jesus will say to some at the last judgment, I never knew you. In Psalm 139, we see the two overlap. Verse 1 affirms both types of knowledge. With the prayer, you have searched me. Okay, that's the factual knowledge, when we have searched for God. And he goes on to say, and you know me, relational knowledge. The next three verses affirm that God knows when we sit down and when we rise up, and what we say and what we do. And verses 5 through 12 then highlight God's presence as an explanation for him knowing these things. Verse 5 says, you have encircled me behind and in front and placed your hand upon me. Now, we have already acknowledged that being known by God encompasses three important truths. So let's consider these three. Belonging to God signifies God's ownership of you. You are God's property. He has redeemed you. Paul, writing to the Corinthians, said, now it is God who makes both us and you stand firm in Christ. He anointed us, set his seal of ownership on us, and put his Spirit in our hearts as a deposit, guaranteeing what is to come. He has bought you, and he has brought you into a permanent relationship of mutual belonging to him. The second aspect of being known by God is being loved by God. You are loved and chosen by him. Just as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, Paul says, that we would be holy and blameless before him. In love, he predestined us to adoption as sons through Jesus Christ to himself, according to the kind intention of his will. Ephesians 1:4. And in Romans 8:28, in the Amplified, it declares, and we know, that is, with great confidence, that God is deeply concerned about us, causes all things to work together for good for those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. The third characteristic of being known by God is that you are a child of God. You are in the family, God's family. John declares, behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed on us, that we should be called children of God. Your deepest need is not to know, but to be known. The prophet Jeremiah declared, but you, O Lord, know me, you see me. Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them. God sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying out, Abba, Father. And when we cry, Abba, Father, it is evidence of the Spirit of God within us because of Jesus' presence. All your knowledge of him depends on his grace initiative. Therefore, knowing God is derived from him knowing you. God knows you and what you are going through in the darkest trial that you're facing. God knows every time that you stub your toe and cry out in anguish. God knows your need and the temptations that you're struggling with. God knows your feelings of depression and hopelessness. God knows your loss and feels your pain. Live today realizing you are known by God, and you will live as God intended. We hope you were encouraged and blessed by this video. We would love to have your feedback and interact with you. If you have a testimony that relates to today's discussion, please share it below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that each time we upload a video that you'll be notified. Be sure to check out our blog on our website, which is in the description below. And until next time, may you experience life as God intended.